The moment before. It's something almost mythological. It's something almost religious. And it's one of those little tools the vast majority of actors out there tend to overlook when it comes down to auditioning or to step on the stage for the very first time. What's up, creative community? Again, this is Lorenzo from the Coach MC Studio, and I'm really pumped you guys joining the channel today because this is probably one of the most important instruments we actors need for the rest of our lives. Period. So if you're here for the first time, kindly consider subscribing and smash the bell to get notified every time we grind out a new video, and leave a comment in the comment section below at the end of this video what you thought of this and how you get ready to perform that very important first moment before it all starts. Coming up after this, let's see what's cooking. Your character, your role, your monologue, your scene, your play, whatever you have to interpret, whether it's in front of the camera or on stage, it doesn't start where it starts. It's in the middle of the life. It's in the middle of your existence, of your being. Actors sometimes have the tendency to think that with their lines, with their very first appearance in the play or in the movie, their life starts, where it's actually the other way around. You start in the middle of your life. You have the line somewhere in the play or in the movie, or if it comes down to your audition, but the moment before has to be your history. It has to be very, very, very specific, detailed, and granularly. It has to be very stratified inside of yourself so you understand where your life actually comes from. Let me say it the other way around. Does your car work without any gasoline? No. Does it work without any electricity if you own a Tesla? No. You have to charge your engine. You have to charge your battery. You have to put some gasoline into the tank. The more gasoline you have, the more your battery is charged, the longer you can go. The wider you can reach. More often you can restart your engine. Start and go is all about acting, it's all about reacting, it's all about putting into action what you thought about previously. If your engine isn't filled up with gas, if your battery isn't charged up, where do you want to go? You just have a very low life in front of the camera or on stage. That is the moment before. It's charging your battery. It's filling up your tank. More gasoline you have in your tank, the more your battery is charged, the better you can play. The more convincing, genuine, and impactful you are on stage or in front of the camera. So you have to ask very specific questions. You have to drill deep as you can, to get as much information as you can out of yourself and out of your author's text and out of the text, out of the play as you can. So you are charged up, you're fired up. Your moment before, especially when you're going to audition, needs to be maximum temperature. High voltage. It needs to be the greatest intensity you can come up with. I see a lot of actors, especially at auditions, they come in and they kind of, get into the scene, they start to read, and it's all very comfortable and acceptable. And by the end of the scene, they're really warmed up. They're really performing on a very good and acceptable level. But 75% of the audition is gone already and they haven't really created any impact. You need to create that impact from the very first moment you start to read. You start to go a step on stage or in front of the camera. You need to be 100% focused and fully charged and able to transmit what your life went through before it appeared on stage, before it appeared in front of the camera, before it read out their very first line in front of the casting director. It's like shaking the hand of somebody. When you're shaking the hand of somebody and here's that fluffy type of handshake, it's very annoyed and very powerless. How do you consider that person? You want that handshake to be energetic, not overly tensioned, but you want that handshake to be real, genuine. You want to feel what kind of person that is. That's why we shake hands. I have to know who you are. And that is the same for the casting director. He wants to know who you are. Are you great to work with? Are you a great actor? Do you come up with certain ideas? Do you bring the necessary intensity right from the start? Because on set, there is no time to waste. You have to be sharp right from the very first moment. There is no time to warm up. Even on stage, you come out, there is a Shakespearean play. It's a great play. Everybody's performing top levels. You don't have time to warm up. Your moment before has to be specific, crucial, and very grand. It has to be full of everything you went through. in that life that you have to interpret. Think about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. You have these two outstanding characters and they're fighting against each other. He's feeling like a failure, she's looking for other men, and they have this very complex and very long-lasting relationship. So if you start to read out of Who is Afraid of Virginia Woolf, of course, one of these two characters you have to interpret, they need to have a history. They need to have intensity. Their tank needs to be filled up, or their battery needs to be charged. Their handshake needs to be strong, effective, and very convincing from the very first moment. How do they do that? How do actors achieve that, to have a very first moment before? By filling up their tanks, by building up their intensity, by asking very specific questions and really pumping themselves up as much as they can to really have that tension that is interesting, that pulls the audience into their story, into their life. But be aware, there is just so much that you can read. The words will deliver a great amount of knowledge and information, vectors that are truly useful. And we have shot a lot of videos about how important the words are. But don't confuse the rational mind with the emotional mind. There is a lot of information that you can get out of the script and a lot of information that you can get out of yourself in terms of how you react to the script. If you feel comfortable with this character, if you feel similar to him, or if he's totally distant from you. So you can get a lot of, knowledge, a lot of vectors out of these experiences already. But the rational mind doesn't play the emotion. The rational mind doesn't involve the audience. The rational mind doesn't deliver passion. That is made by your emotion. That is made by your core. That is delivered by your engine. Rationalize as much as you want. Intellectualize your words as much as you want. But then let them go and transform them into passion, canalize them into tangible action, into emotion, into feelings, right? Characters are about feelings, about delivering something that is truly important for them. Again, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Both characters, they have deep-seated feelings, issues, inconsistencies, frustrations, depressions, all that. Where is all that? It's in the moment before. If you go on stage and you don't have that, your character is annoying, it's boring. Nobody wants to see that because it's an average delivery. And a lot of actors tend to oversee that, tend to overlook that. What is the moment before? It's such a classical term. We hear that all the time, whether you're going to acting schools or even, to a casting, or when you're rehearsing on stage for a play. You hear the director say, think about your moment before. Where are you coming from? Some actors tend to kind of normalize that and kind of banalize that. Well, yeah, I'm coming from the kitchen, I'm very upset. Does that tell you anything, that you're very upset and you're coming from the kitchen or coming from outside? What? You have to build up as much intensity as you can. I can't even stress out that fact, how important it is. Actually exaggerate with that initial tension as much as you can. Draw it big, oversketch it, make it large and grand. Because the more you pack in there, the more intensity you have, the more volume, the more acting potential you have at your disposal to use in an effective way. Analyze the words, dive in deep into the meaning, rationalize the whole process, but then these words need to be translated into emotion. You need to realize, okay, I went through 20 years of marriage that was just miserable. I feel denigrated as a human being. I hate my existence. I can't stand this person anymore. I feel like a complete failure. Now we have something substantial. If you say, yeah, I'm upset, I'm coming from the kitchen. Why are you upset? What did you do in the kitchen? I drank whiskey because I was so upset and frustrated about my life. And I'm almost drunk. And I feel like, kicking this whole place together. Now, you see where the difference is? As soon as you dive a little bit deeper into the meaning of the moment before, you have so much more to discover. I always compare this to a house. Imagine you see the facade of a beautiful house, right? A big building. And you just see two windows up there. And they're open and there's some light coming out of those windows. I wonder what is happening right now. Behind these two windows up there. I can see some action, I can hear some screams, but I don't know really what's happening, right? Because I can't see the other windows. They are all the other windows of the facade of this house are closed. I can see only two of them. Your character behaves in a similar way, whether it's a big role you have to interpret or a small role. We only see 2 or 3 windows opening up during the scene. But the other windows, they are there. Even though if they're closed, something happened behind them. There is a life behind every window in every house. Go out, check out a big house and ask yourself, okay, I see 12 windows, 5 are closed, 7 are open. So what's happening behind those closed ones? That's the moment before. What is happening behind the closed window? That's what your character went through. You have to ask yourself this question. Not only the obvious stuff, not only the two windows that are open. That is easy to interpret. Let it go, yeah, I can show. But what happened behind those closed curtains? That is what is interesting about your character, to discover, to lift the tent, to open up the window and see inside into the life. We are the house. We have open and closed windows. The moment before is all the closed windows. And when it starts, you open it up and then you let it go and you perform. But the most important question that you should ask yourself, the emotional information that you should gather, lies behind the closed windows. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know in the comment section below, because truly, this is one of the most important concepts that you will have as an actor. One of the most important working concepts that you can use to kind of build your character. The moment before, it's not just I'm coming from there and I'm this and that guy and I'm upset. These are blunt, superficial information, useless for your brain because they don't have any traction. They are not effective. So you have to drill deep to get into the life and really experience what it was. If everything fades away, let's say you have an audition and you kind of black out, right? It happens sometimes. We are nervous, we get bad news, or we are so stressed out because we had to travel through the whole city to get to the audition, then we have to wait for another hour, so we're totally cooled down. We don't know anything about our character anymore, anything about the audition anymore, anything about this play or this movie anymore. But one thing we know, there was a moment before. So just go to the closet of the casting director's office, close yourself down into the toilet and just think about what was the moment before. And drill as deep as you can and stay there until you got it, until you have that full acting potential, until you have that intensity through experience, until the words and the rationalized process has given you so many vectors that you can turn those vectors into emotion. Then you open up the door and you slam that audition. You show what you got. Maximum intensity, high voltage, beautiful tension, a lot of knowledge and experience, deep-seated experience. Throw everything you got in there. The first moment needs to kind of blow them away. If you encounter somebody for the very first time, what do you think? How much time, how many seconds have to go by until you kind of came to a very first conclusion about that other human being that you haven't met before in your life? It's 3 seconds. And then already you have some sort of a judgment about that human being. 3 seconds. Think about that. And already we know we like this guy, we don't like that girl. We already judge after 3 seconds. So you have 3 seconds to impact your casting director for the very first time. These 3 seconds, they are crucial. Make them count. Don't waste them. Don't throw them away by not having asked those specific questions, by not having investigated what those closed windows actually hide. And exaggerate, oversketch it, make it big, blow them away, because these 3 seconds, they count. Maybe at the end of the audition we say, well, it was a bit over the top, but I liked his beginning. I liked his initial step. I liked how he approached the whole thing. This is truly important because, again, a lot of actors, they have a slow curve that tends to kind of, pick up by the end. But by the end, everything is already over. It's gone. It's judged. You want to be there. You want to be present. You want to accommodate yourself on the chair because you have the right to do so, and not as somebody who's, I'm not sure if I really belong into. Yes, you belong into here, but you don't feel you belong into this place, into this house, into this casting director's office if you haven't done your homework previously. If you don't really know what it means to be there because you have figured out what the moment before actually really was. The higher the moment before is, the more impact it has to yourself, the more you thought about specifically what your life looked like before you stepped on stage or in front of the camera, the greater your reactions are to your colleagues, to the characters that are interacting with you, and the more genuine, more believable the delivery of your character will be, and the more impactful it will be for the audience. So set you apart from the competitors, because you realize immediately who has done his homework, who has a strong moment before and who hasn't. Who has just a blunt, superficial way of explaining where it comes from, or somebody who really did his homework and you see, okay, this is already the finished character. Before he even said one line, I can immediately tell he's ready to perform. He knows exactly where it's coming from, what he endured, what he suffered, what he swallowed to be here as a character, and what he wants to tell me. And now he's just playing it out. That's basically it. The moment before, and all the crucial ramifications it can have for your performance, for your life, for all of your auditions. Because sometimes these 3 initial seconds, they can make a difference, compared to your competition, compared to the other fellow colleagues that will, you know, join the casting director's office after you, that will get in there after you. When everything goes sideways and you kind of black out, also kind of revisiting that moment before at least can give you this initial secureness that sometimes is so crucial to get into the character, to get into the flow of the audition. Sometimes we lose everything, but we have that moment before. That means we are coming with a purpose. You know, we're entering the room like it belongs to us, like we are meant to be there in that very second. And that confidence translates. That confidence is tangible. That confidence I can see transpiring, right, from your pores. Oh yeah, he belongs in here. It's interesting to see. He takes over the place. Okay, let him go. Let's see what he has to offer. Don't waste time, because time is king. Time truly is the context that we're all facing as human beings, because let's face it, we are here just for a certain amount of time. Let's not waste any second out of it, especially when we're performing, especially when we have to impact our audience. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this, guys. Train your moment before, make it count, make it big, and let me know what your experience was so far with auditioning or stepping on stage or in front of the camera, how it worked out for you. If you have any other questions regarding the moment before, jump to our website. It's thecoachmc.studio. Send us an email, send us your inquiry, send us your question. We will respond ASAP. And also check out our other adventures on Instagram and Facebook. It's the Coach MC, and share this video to your community, because ultimately our mission here at the Coach MC Studio is to create a thriving community of great actors for ever better performances, truly remarkable performances. So smash the bell to get notified every time we grind out a new video, and see you next time with the next video. Now you're ready to perform.